Hi everybody, I am Coach Rebecca Smith. Welcome to Q&A with Coach Rebecca. It is Thursday, but it feels like March the 26th of 2026. If you're asking me, it's been an interesting and long couple of weeks for me and probably for a lot of other people. And I've been working with my athletes in the Perform Happy community on ways to reemerge from the COVID-19 shutdown as if the shutdown never happened. And I have a hypothesis that this shutdown is going to separate the champions from, the recreational athletes. It's going to separate the people who are truly dedicated, truly committed, true athletes from the people who were just there for social hour. And what's going to be a big part of that is who is mentally tough when they return. So what I've been doing to support my group, my team, my membership is offering daily challenges. So for the last 3 weeks, we started with an imagery challenge. Then we had a challenge that's specifically for breaking through mental blocks. This week, we're doing one that's open to the public, which is the mental toughness challenge. We have had hundreds of athletes showing up live. You're welcome to join us for the last couple of days. I will link to that here in the post. But the first week of challenges, that imagery challenge was so important to me to get out right away because that's an absolute game changer. That's gonna make or break whether you are able to go right back in and do your skills or if it's gonna take you a total rebuild. So I'm gonna give you guys 6 different ways to visualize. And I know I'm using the word imagery and visualization. I think visualizing is a word we hear more often. The more accurate word is imagery because it's not just about seeing yourself doing something like you're watching a movie. It's about almost like virtual reality where you're seeing it, you're smelling it, you're tasting it, you're feeling it. Everything is happening in real time as if it's really happening. So that's how I want you to approach it, is that your entire sensory experience is believing that what's happening in your imagery is happening in real life. So here are the 6 different ways. The first day of the challenge, we started off in our happy place. Now, this can be a place that you've traveled to. This can be a place that's completely made up in your mind. It can be a little tree you used to climb when you were a little girl. Anything that feels happy to you is an amazing place to go and recreate, especially when you're not feeling so happy place in life. Things are not feeling fantastic. You're not feeling like you're on a winning streak. That's a great one to pull out. The second day, we worked on skill practice. Now, I wanted to start them off with the happiness so they could at least get some practice with that polysensory, really detailed way of imagining things. Then we went into skills. So that means that we broke down skills and imagined them in the best possible way. Because when you do this right, your brain doesn't know the difference between you doing it in your mind and doing it in your body. And studies have shown you can improve massively, 23%, even if you haven't physically executed a skill. Okay, 24% if you physically execute, 23% if you don't. So it's only slightly less. Of course, if you're not doing any practice, you improve 0. So skill practice is really important. I started them off with that early in the week. Then we went to a peak performance. Now this is going back into the past, imagining something awesome, a performance of your past where you nailed it. And what that does is it brings your confidence up because you're like, oh yeah, I did that. Oh, I am kind of amazing, aren't I? And that primes you for craving more of those. The next one was future success. So we went to the past and found success, and then we went into the future. And when you imagine what's possible, ooh, it's so good. It gets you motivated. It gets you like ready. Like, okay, what can I do? Well, I can't do a Yurchenko vault into a pit right now, but darn it, I can do some leg lifts, or I can work my core, or I can, there's something I can do that's going to get me moving in that right direction. And then the last 2 days were situation imagery, which is all about taking the scariness out of a conversation or a situation that makes you nervous. This can be for a job interview. It can be for a tough conversation with a coach. It can be for any situation that you're like, oh gosh, what if this doesn't go well? And you imagine it going perfectly. And when you do that, you see it going perfectly, and then it's not so daunting. And then you actually walk into the real situation with your chin held high, like, oh, this is going to be great. my coach is totally going to hear me on this, and we're going to walk out feeling like that was really productive. The final one was healing imagery. This is, it's recommended by doctors, it's recommended by lots of sports psychologists because it's been proven to actually speed up healing and improve outcomes with physical therapy because it keeps people feeling better. When you feel better, you're more motivated. When you're more motivated, you get your PT done. And it also actually speeds up the healing. There's some pretty wild studies on how well healing imagery works. And a couple of our girls who struggle with mental blocks use the healing imagery to heal their brain. You know, looking at their brain like they have like an injury, like the mental block is an injury, healing it, getting it back in action, building up their confidence. It was pretty cool how these girls used it. So any of you members who are watching, you Perform Happy members, you have access to this forever and ever. And it's in the challenges section. We're adding to that every single week. And if you haven't already, I hope you'll join us to get a little taste of Perform Happy this week in the Mental Toughness Challenge. Also in the link I'm going to post, you can download the the workbook for the challenge and a peak performance imagery recording where I will actually walk you through a peak performance imagery that you can use to boost confidence. So if you have any questions, reach out to me, Rebecca@performhappy.com, and I will see you soon. Bye.